Welcome back to Preaching Preacher. This is episode 8 and it's called El Valero. This episode begins with Kincannon's family being killed and it's like during a ski wreck.
Yeah, they're on a ski lift.
It's kind of, it's just like a weird background.
Like a gondola, yeah.
Yeah, like a gondola. It's a weird background story that none of us knew, followed by the words fail. And then it cuts to the preacher over the phone saying something terrible has happened.
Yeah, so we cut to a flashback of Jesse's father, and he's talking to Kincannon about the loss of his family in the ski lift, telling him that he needs help. Kincannon appears all like hysterical and shit. He's got dead animals all over his office, and he grabs like a handful of cow intestines and begins, he like begs Jesse's father to like basically denounce God and I don't know, some weird shit like that. He was like hysterical, it was crazy. We see Kincannon's like meat packer boys, like it cuts to, like I guess the present.
Yeah.
So we see his boys and they're breaking into the church. They get their asses kicked and scared off by the preacher. Jesse managed to disarm them all too and like take all their guns.
So and then Jesse's sitting there and he's drunk and begging to bring it back. It being Eugene.
Yeah.
Jesse reaches down and to the spot where he kind of like banished him out, and he strangely pulls him out.
Starts reaching in the sand, yeah.
And Eugene starts coming out. Yeah. Jesse talks to him about his powers and how that it wasn't right to use Genesis in that way, and begins to discuss how he should be giving Genesis back.
Yeah, so Eugene tells Jesse to give the power back to the angels, the agent, but Preacher realizes that he never really told Eugene about that, and he starts to clue in that Eugene's not really there. So meanwhile, Kincannon and his boys, they're all set up for another attack. They look all Alamo style.
The meat packaging guys roll up to the church for the second time, I guess, only to be shot at by the preacher and the preacher is in the bell tower.
He's like sniping like crazy, yeah.
This causes them to retreat. One guy does end up getting shot, and he comes back saying that his dick got shot off, but he was like strangely calm.
Yeah, he's all calm about it, his dick in his hand.
Sheriff Root shows up because Jesse had called him saying that Eugene was there. And then Kincannon's talking to Sheriff Root saying that Jesse lost his mind.
Yeah.
Jesse ends up telling everyone to bring the agents, and only Sheriff Root seems to know what that means.
Yeah, so the agents, they show up and Jesse explains to them about how he accidentally banished Eugene to hell. They mention that he can bring someone back from hell, but it's difficult, and they won't do it until they remove Genesis. So it kind of cuts to another little side thing where Tulip gets a dog, and
it was kind of
strange. Weird, yeah. Just all of a sudden Tulip's buying a dog. So Jesse tries to argue that Genesis sought him out. They throw it all back in his face, so saying that with all the power he's been given, he hasn't done any good with it. So Kincannon and the meat packers once again make a third plan to infiltrate the church. This time they're all like barbecuing.
It was really
like
weird.
Family gathering.
Yeah, the families were there, and it didn't seem like they were about to storm in. And
yeah,
Donnie, the one with the broken arm, which Preacher did to him, he's dressed up like a Confederate soldier and ends up putting his, head into the back of a trunk and blows his brains out. LeBlanc and Fiore are singing over the Preacher to retrieve Genesis with their music box.
Yeah.
Back into the coffee can. Preacher asked the agents about saving Eugene, bringing him back from hell, and they just kind of shrug it off, being like, well, we didn't really
We'll look into it.
We didn't really say we were going to help you.
Yeah. So he gets all pissed off from that, which causes like Genesis to break out of the tin during this whole argument between Jesse and the agents.
Oh yeah, we should mention that it does come out of him.
Yeah, it comes out of him into the can. Yeah, we said that, and then it ends up during their argument possessing Jesse again. So LeBlanc and Fiore are seen fed up, and basically they're going to have to resort to the other option, and they're done trying with him, and
yeah, it was weird.
They just walk off and leave. So it's now night, and Jesse just kind of sits there getting hammered in the church. Throughout the whole episode, he just sits there getting hammered. There's like a crazy gunfight going on. He's just kind of slumped there drinking, doesn't even seem to give a shit. Yeah, so he's shooting against Odin and his boys, and Donnie walks into the church and just like pulls a gun on Preacher.
And you're like, oh, what, Joe?
Yeah.
Is he supposed to be dead?
Yeah, you thought he was dead, but no, there he is. And Preacher uses his little Genesis power on him and tells Donnie, like, put the gun down. And then Donnie just kind of like turns his head and he's got blood running down his ears. So yeah, he didn't kill himself. He actually just did that to deafen himself to the Preacher's words.
That was smart.
Yeah.
Donnie ends up like smoking him with the pistol, and then when Jesse wakes up, he's talking to Odin, you know, and he's comparing the situation to the Alamo. Kincannon claims that Jesse should devout, you know, or he's a
devout.
Yeah, Kincannon's a
yeah.
devout believer of his god, which is the god of meat. So, you know, he is serving God, but it's not the same God, apparently.
Yeah.
Jesse's saying to Kincannon, you know, give me one more Sunday, and I'll bring God here.
Yeah.
You know, and he'll say that if
he doesn't like what
God says, that he'll denounce, you know, being a preacher, you know, God.
Yeah. Tulip sits there all loving her dog and hugging it. She then like walks down the hallway with it and brings it into her room. You basically hear it being killed after that. I believe this is Cass needing blood to recover, because when she walks out of the room, she even says, she's like, damn you, Jesse Custer.
Pissed. I thought we would see Cass before then.
Yeah. So yeah, it cuts to Jesse inside the back of a cop car being taken off the church land. And then the episode ends with a danger alarm going off and a guy turning some dials fixing it for the second time.
Yeah, it's just a strange... We still don't know what's going on.
Yeah, on a side note, I noticed it was measured in kilopascals, so basically
sort of
pressure was building, and
but we still don't know.
Leaves the pressure of what, though?
Yeah, of what? It's kind of a weird ending. I'm unable to figure out what's really going on in that scene still.
Yeah, it was a really great episode overall, though. It had a lot of Preacher charm to it. It definitely makes you want to keep watching to see what Jesse does on Sunday.
Yeah.
Also, what LeBlanc and Fiore's other...
like Plan B.
Plan B or whatever their other option is, right? Yeah, I guess all that being said...
I guess this is another Preacher.
Yeah.
Tune in for next Sunday.
Yeah.
Episode 9. Don't forget to check out Bangerz and Mash Live. Check out our podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes.
Bangerz and Mash, perfectly pixelated podcast.
And don't forget to check us out on Twitter and Facebook.
Till next time, this is Bangerz and Mash. Fuck off.